craziest young lady I've ever met.
I'm focused now, though.
See what I mean? The craziness begins. But really, Ashley, I know you as a creative because we spent time working together at Easy FM. And it used to be Nairobi's #1 station for R&B and big things. And then one day, she walks into the studio and tells me, guess what, Sheila? I'm leaving. I'm going on a sabbatical. And up until that point, I'd never known anybody in my entire life who took a sabbatical. It's only last year that I met somebody else who took a sabbatical, Gado, and I still don't get it. And the first thing after you said that to me was, so I'm going, where? Canada. And I thought, chick doesn't have bills to pay. So clearly, when it comes to switching lanes, you can tell a story or two.
Yes.
So let's go back to the beginning. For those who don't know who Ashley is,
okay.
You've got many names. Ashley, Mokali, Ndabo. Yes.
I do prefer Mekali, though.
Okay.
Yes. Right. So I started out in media, which is actually what I trained in university. I did communications, and my focus was electronic media. Because I've always had this thing for the power of words. And I think radio is the best example when it comes to actually seeing how words can affect people and change. So I started out working with a youth ministry called K-Crew or Kubamba.
I think they're still around.
Yes, they're still around, going strong. So did radio with them, did event with them. When I finally graduated, my first job was actually teaching English.
I can't imagine you in a classroom going,
A for apple, B for boy.
No, it was a rather posh school called St. Andrew's School, Turi.
A for apple.
Yes. A for apple. Yes, one of those ones.
Right.
Actually, A for appetizer. But so I got bored, which is usually my main problem with employment, is I got bored. And then I wanted to change, and I wanted to do something in what I had trained in. So an opportunity came up at Radio Africa for a copywriter. So I joined Radio Africa, working specifically for Kiss 100 and Classic 105, doing copywriting for them. That lasted about a year and a half. Boredom, frustration kicked in again, and I moved and joined Nation. Now that's where I worked at Easy FM. So Easy FM was...
Choose his words wisely. Wow.
Easy FM was quite fantastic.
Yay.
No, it really was. So in high school, right, whenever I'd be in the city, actually high school and part of primary school, whenever I was in the city with anyone, I'd point at the Nation Center and be like, that's my office building. So for me, working at Nation was actually a dream come true, and a dream that I'd held for quite a while. So I joined Nation as a copywriter, but then just the usual frustrations of feeling, I am two-dimensional. I'm not growing. I'm not developing in any of my other interests. And I also I used to have a problem with tunnel vision. I was hired as a copywriter, and therefore I will forever be a copywriter. Yet I am really interested in a whole bunch of different things. Yes.
Yeah.
So after a while, the frustration kicked in. I felt I was stuck in a rut, and I felt something had to change. So in my random searches on the internet, I thought, hey, culinary school would be a plan.
Culinary school.
Yes.
Not media school, not photography school, not design school.
The idea was to completely just get out of the space that I was in. I was burnt out as a writer. I was frustrated with media, and I just wanted something that still challenged me creatively, but would be in a completely different space. I didn't want to do the 9 to 5 sitting in front of a computer. I didn't want to walk into an office. So I wanted to change. So I woke up one day and thought, you like to cook? So culinary school.
Yeah, and it wasn't just any culinary school. It was get on a plane and go to one of the coldest countries in the world and spend a lot of time there.
Yes.
And then come back.
Yes. Well, I think I'm a failure when it comes to being African, because I like the cold. I really enjoyed the cold. And everyone kept warning me, you will not appreciate Canada's cold. But I really love the weather. So I paid for Canada with my savings, a bank loan. I think I borrowed some cash from my dad. It was a gathering of funds.
Right.
And originally I'd been denied my sabbatical because, again, explaining that, you get a sabbatical when you're trying to do something that's in line with what your company does or what you've trained for. So explaining to HR that, yes, I'm actually going to learn how to cook. Classical French cuisine.
Right.
Was a bit of a challenge. So it actually got to a point where I had to make a choice. Quit or kill the story for going to Canada and doing culinary school. Luckily, for some reason, my boss had a change of heart, and I managed to get the sabbatical, and off to Canada I went. And the plan my only prayer when I left was actually that I wanted to excel. And for the first probably 3/4 of my time there, it felt like I was doing everything but excelling.
Right.
The instructors are French chefs, so a lot of the instruction you get is in French. So a lot of French terminology, a lot of ingredients that you're not accustomed to. I mean, here you cook vitongu, tomatoes, ginger, such
Oh, we
things.
just mutukanyo everything.
know.
Just put it in a pot,
Yes,
it will cook eventually.
everything, and you serve everything in that pot. Meanwhile, here you have to do you chop your carrots and your onions and your celery, and then that will come out eventually, so that your soup, your sauce is clear. You deal with things like escargot, and you have to try
Snails.
Yes, snails. Yeah. So you have to try those. You have to actually you have classes where you have to try all these different ingredients that you're not accustomed to. And I'm a fussy eater,
Right.
which is just adds to the irony of my doing culinary school. So that was all kinds of a challenge. It
Yeah,
was
and being
good for
away
me.
from home also teaches you other things about yourself that you didn't know. Suddenly you begin to rely a lot more on you
Yes.
to pick yourself up.
Yes.
And sooner than later, the course was over
Yes.
and it was time to come back home.
Yes. So, so despite struggling, graduated valedictorian, came back home, and because I had told Nation I will come back to work for Nation because you gave me a sabbatical, I came back to Nation. But again, just the same mentality that I just did not want to do the 9 to 5. So after a year, I quit. Um, so I didn't really have a master plan when I quit, but I just knew I'm done with media.
Right.
So I worked at a restaurant for about, it's probably 5 weeks. I think this is like the record employment, the worst record of employment I've ever had. 5 weeks. And I was so frustrated because the mentality is, oh, you've studied abroad, thus and therefore you're here to try and make us feel inferior, or you think you know everything. And for me, my only agenda was to learn, was to grow. So, so after 5 weeks, I just said,
No.
it's never that serious.
And so you quit. And it was time to go back to the drawing board and find something else. So what should you do?
Yes, so I went back to what's familiar, which is media.
Oh, Ashley.
I know, right? I was just the foray into something different and how it had panned out. And I just thought, nope, too afraid to do this. I'm just going to go back to what I know I've done for the last 10 years or so, and I will stick to this time.
Right.
That lasted about 5 seconds.
Even shorter than the restaurant?
No, this was at Homeboys. I was at Homeboys for a year. Then someone that I had known for a while from my days in K-Crew was like, look, I work at a church now. We think your skills would be fantastic. Come on board. So I made the leap and I went to work for a church for about a year and a half. And then I quit again.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm beginning to see a pattern
Yes,
here.
there's a pattern, yes. So I quit with the intention of finally doing my own thing because it's something I had said for so many years. I want to do my own thing. I want to do my own thing. But up until that point, it was just talk. Now that I've quit, talk needed to become action.
Right. So
Yes.
what did you do in that in-between time? Did you go on a quest? Did you go and fast? People do all sorts of things when it comes time to figure out
Yes.
what's the next step. What did you do?
There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of crying because I just kept thinking back to when, I tried working at the restaurant and that experience, and then imagining I'm trying to do something different yet again. And the first time round, it didn't go so great. And trying to remind myself of how, despite the fact that Canada was such an amazing experience, that was still a struggle to really permeate. So, a lot of crying, a lot of researching, a lot of taking stock of the things that I was interested in. This was the first time that I think I sat down and said, look, you have spent your entire life with this tunnel vision, whereas there are so many things about you that, that are varied and different. So sit down and think about who you are, what you enjoy. So I made a list and I said, okay, so I like cooking, I like writing, I'm pretty good at anything that involves making stuff with my hands. I enjoy people, I like all these things. So sat down and said, okay, what out of all these things can you use to make money with? And because obviously I'd spent so much money doing Canada and because it's something that I do enjoy, I figured I'll do something in food. So the original plan was pastries, which I did not study. But this is me who likes a challenge. So I figured I'd do pastries. In the process, just finding chocolate became tricky because if you buy what you usually get in supermarkets and in most suppliers is actually chocolate compound, which isn't real chocolate per se. And being me, I just kept thinking, no, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right. I want to do high quality, which means I have to use real chocolate. And obviously, real chocolate comes at a cost, a really
it's
high
not
cost.
cheap.
Yes, it is not
Exactly.
cheap. So what eventually happened is I thought I shall import the chocolate, which makes it even more
More
expensive.
expensive.
Yes. So in my research, while I was trying to find a source for chocolate, I found, Tanzania grows cocoa beans, and Uganda grows cocoa beans as well. And would you know it, there's someone on the internet who is showing people how to make chocolate from scratch. And then again, this is me who likes making things, me who likes a challenge. And I was like, well, instead of
What is that
importing,
number?
instead of importing the chocolate, I could try and make it myself. So woke up one day, researched equipment, found equipment, researched a place where I could get the cocoa beans from Tanzania, found a place, converted a room in a spare room into like a little factory setting, and ordered the stuff and got started.
What's the name of your chocolate?
Oh, so the company is Chocolate Culture.
Yeah.
The idea being that we're not really, as Africans, are not really chocolate consumers. At least not when you compare us to places like Europe and the States. And the idea was just to highlight the fact that, we can appreciate our own product. So create a chocolate eating culture in Kenya and hopefully Africa, and also just highlight African cocoa.
It's all about creating a new culture. I simply must ask about all these transitions that you went through. I know people who will sit in jobs and they know they shouldn't be there. I was one of them. and you know for sure that you should be branching off into something else and you should be doing something else. What pushed you to jump over the ledge? Because it's not too many people who jump. In fact, the ones who jump, majority have been pushed by somebody else.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it is a mixture of being pushed by either circumstance or by someone. But I also think there's two kinds of fear. And I think it just depends on what fear wins out. In my case, definitely it was either spend the rest of your life and die having not achieved any of the things you really wanted to, or risk it and go through some incredible hardships, but then hopefully at the end of it all, have the chance to really live the kind of life you want to. So it was either, are you more afraid of failing but pursuing your dream, or are you more afraid of just sitting at the same job and being miserable and guaranteed for sure you will die unhappy?
And I think that is the most unhappiest and slowest of deaths.
Yes.
Because you keep wondering what if, what could be, and then even worse, somebody else starts on something that you had wanted to
Yes.
do, and then you see them taking off with
Yes.
it
Yes.
while you're still withering away in some shelf somewhere. It can be difficult.
Yes.
But life as an entrepreneur, it's great that you're being honest about it. It's not easy.
No, not
It's
at all.
fearful. Every day you wake up and you're asking yourself one constant question. I find myself asking every day, what am I doing?
Yes.
Do you have days
Yes.
where you ask that question to yourself
Every
day?
Every day you wake up in the morning and you think, oh my gosh. like that is the first reaction. You're just like, okay, I'm up now, and it's, there's no guarantee that there'll be a paycheck at the end of the month. What happens in terms of my bank account depends on what I do today. And today could go anyway. It could go great, it could go terrible. So you wake up, yes, you do wake up, and the first question is like, what am I doing? And what have I done? Because you look back and you think, you quit a job at Nation Media Group where people, people would die, people would fight to get in there, and you just waltzed out.
Exactly. It's not a very easy choice, and you always find yourself questioning that.
Yes, so and one of the biggest struggles definitely for me has been self-doubt. When you're constantly questioning, did I make the right choice? Especially when days are hard and you're thinking, I could be just living off a fat paycheck at this point in life, but no, now.
The dynamic has completely
changed, yes.
And this informs my next question. When you've got the security of a paycheck and you are a creative, it's very easy to, completely lose focus and lose direction and not be where you should be and doing the things that you should be doing. But in venturing out on your own, then you also have to learn new skills.
Yes.
You're no longer just thinking, I'm a creative, so I create. You've got to think about marketing. You've got to think about sales.
Yes.
You're thinking about other things which in essence used to belong to other people.
Yes.
But these are all now sitting squarely with you.
Yeah.
How do you work on all these other aspects and elements of your business? Do you have people who are helping you out with it, or are you still the one-woman show?
I know, right? It's a mixture of both. At the end of the day, the buck stops with you. If you decide I'm going to venture out into business, the reality is that you are the end all be all. But I have to also admit that I am pretty blessed when it comes to human capital. My friends have been absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, as well, I think you find help comes from very unexpected corners. There are people who you'd never, imagine you cross their minds, and they'll call you up and they'll be like, I hear you're doing this. I'd like to offer, whether it's, just basic wisdom or my services in some kind of way. So, you have to understand that whether you like it or not, the buck stops with you. Because you are the end-all, be-all of your business. That's the reality. So you need to learn things. So the things that, as much as I'm a creative and I say, oh no, my job is creating, okay? Whether I like it or not, I have to figure out the books.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not, I have to figure out the marketing and the sales. And it's been a challenge because, again, coming out of that mentality of, I am the creative, my job is
This is what I do.
Yes.
You go and then you realize the you that you're speaking to is not even in the room with you.
There. It's just you.
Yes.
So as
you
you're
have
waiting
to pick
for
it up.
as you're waiting for someone to handle it, things are just piling up and going crazy, and then you realize, oh, actually, it's me.
Let me go out there and sell something, because then if you can't do it, there's no way you'll also get anybody else to buy into what you're doing.
Exactly.
And where can we pick up your chocolate?
Well, currently,
chocolate culture.
Yes.
May I open one?
Yes.
Because they're all sitting here and I'm thinking, which one should I have? Should I have this one?
What would you like? Do you like milk chocolate or do you like dark
I like chocolate. All right.
Well,
where's the chocolate? All of it's chocolate.
Yes, all of it is chocolate. Depending on how dark you like
May I
the
have
stuff.
this one?
Yes, that is kind of mid-range for what we do. So we do a milk chocolate, we do a 52% bittersweet, and we do an 80% dark. So if you like super intense stuff, the 80 is good for you. Yes.
And where is it available?
We currently retail at the organic farmers markets.
Right.
This one in particular at the Hub, but we're trying to check out one that's starting at Lord Arrow.
Okay. Can I show everybody what that chocolate looks like? Yes. Look at that. Look at that, and I'm guessing you created all this.
Well, the molds, we bought already pre-made molds, because molds are super expensive. But we like that design because it's different from your usual square molds, and it has the design of the cocoa pod. So, yes.
Okay, I'm going to taste it.
All right. I hope you enjoy.
Here goes everything. Made in Kenya.
Yes.
With some Tanzanian beans.
Yes. Some Ugandan cocoa butter.
Ugandan.
Yes.
So this is a truly East African
affair. Yes, we really want to highlight the fact that this is an African product and just highlight the different countries and what they produce. But obviously we're proud to be Kenyan, so.
Just keep talking, I'm eating.
Yeah, so what we try to do, especially, what you're having is a plain bar, but what we're trying to do is highlight, we do also dried fruits and nuts, so stuff that is locally available, trying to use flavors that, say Kenya, so yes.
This is so good. I could finish this bar all by myself.
Enjoy.
But it's good quality. It's rich. We want you to pick up the chocolate. It is chocolate culture from my girl, Colleen Dambo. But you're online as well. We can place our orders online.
Yes, on Facebook. Or you can write to Mwikali at chocolateculture.rocks.
Oh,
yes.
Chocolateculture.rocks.
Yes.
Chocolate rocks, always, forever. But thank you so very much for making the time. As we close, inspire somebody who's, flitting through life and switching lanes and sabbaticaling at the speed of light.
Well, honestly, I've gone through life thinking that I'm not focused because of the switching of lanes. But I've realized that it's just me it has been me trying to figure out who I am and what I really want to do. So if you are, all over the place as it feels, just understand that, as long as you're constantly pursuing, knowledge and understanding of who you are and what you can offer this world, keep at it. Don't be afraid to change lanes. Don't be afraid to take risks. There will be some seriously rough days, but I think God comes through for us, at the end of it all. And honestly, I think, if I were to die tomorrow, I think I'd be happier knowing that I chased after this dream, wherever it got me to, as opposed to just sitting around in an office being unhappy.
Wondering what if.
Yes, what if. The what if question is like my most terrifying question. It's the most scariest thing for me. So at least now I know I have a lot less what ifs to answer.
You're better off with a what if I get a contract?
Yes.
What if? Then what if I just ventured out?
Yes. What if I tried something? What if I chased after this dream that I have? What if I, tried to be someone better or bigger than I think that I am currently? So do it. It will be terrifying. It will be hard. It will be hard. I cannot stress this enough. Be hard.
I agree with you. I'm nodding because it's true. It's the toughest thing you'll probably ever do in your life.
We only talk about the successes of entrepreneurship. And when we do talk about the struggles, we talk about it in the light of our successes. We never ever really talk about the struggles as they currently happen and just how bad they can get. Do it.
Get ready. Make sure your eyes are open. Don't think about this as